Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Operation Black Vote. On the panel, on the furthest right is Simon Woolley, Director of OBV, that's Operation Black Vote. Katie Ghose, Chair of Yes to Fairer Votes. Baroness Oona King, Baroness of Bow. Merlene Emerson, GLA candidate and the Chair of Chinese Lib Dems. And the furthest left we have Farouk Murad, Secretary General for the Muslim Council of Britain.
I would argue this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for our communities to change the system, to give us more political clout so we can make a difference to our society.
I always thought first past the post had very significant failings. When I was an MP and when I won 2 elections under first past the post, I still chaired the Labour campaign for electoral reform, for instance, because I think it's a nonsense that you can have a democratic system where the party that wins the most votes can lose the election.
As the largest umbrella organisation of the Muslim community, we have campaigned for a long time, since '97, to engage Muslims in the electoral and democratic process in this country. But we've always come across this hurdle, this apathy, which is based on the fact that system versus politician, not the people. A change that's needed. And I think a change that will enable the minority communities to be more engaged. And I think that's what we need.
In the current system is a politician's fix. It's fine for politicians, it's not great for voters. What happens at the moment is all the attention at election times goes to a handful of floating voters and a handful of marginal constituents. Less than 2% of us decided the result of the last election. That can't be right. The alternative vote will change that. Every single candidate will have to reach out and aim to get more than 50% of the votes. I think that's going to have a profound effect on the ability of minority communities, the ability to get their issues on the table. We're going to have politicians spending more time on the doorsteps, less time doing Punch and Judy in Westminster. If you are running a local migrant community group, if you feel passionately about gun crime or housing or any of the kind of bread and butter issues, you will quite literally have more politicians spending the time of the day listening to those concerns. It's a really simple system, and actually 14 million of us already use the alternative vote in charities and civic groups and businesses when we need to elect leaders. The only difference is that instead of having an X, you have a 1, 2, 3. That means that you can pick a favourite, you put a 1 next to that person's name, but if your favourite doesn't win, you still get to have a say. I think anybody who suggests that us voters can't cope with a system that's as easy as 1, 2, 3 needs to think again.
My name is Terry Paul. I'm from the No campaign. Okay, so a BNP vote will say you get 100 votes or whatever, 200 votes in a constituency. Those votes will be folded up to the next candidate. Why should the BNP's vote count on multiple occasions? My vote, let's say, for a main political party will probably only count once in a constituency. But what will happen, the BNP votes will be used to actually decide the election.
But everybody only has 1 vote. I mean, in each round. So the best explanation I saw was someone saying, look, it's really quite simple. If you had £1 and you transferred it between bank accounts, does that mean you have £2? No, it doesn't. You've transferred your vote. If I'm voting Labour and someone was voting BNP, in the second round, my vote still counts. I'm voting Labour. Their vote still counts. It's fair votes. The fact is, though, the electoral system can't be a fig leaf for us to deal with the arguments. If 70% of the British population do actually want to vote for an extremist right-wing party, no amount of jiggery-pokery with the electoral system is going to hide that. We need to do our job and win the argument, but the actual machinery, that is a different issue. And what AV does is just make it fair across the board.
There's a point here that perhaps has been missed, and that is not just BNP. You've got the UKIP, you've got the BNP, you've got the EDL. If all of those choices were put together, they could be a substantial voice.
But it can't be.
Okay, so explain that.
Well, it can't be. I mean, I think that the question for Terry and the no vote is that if this was a route to power for the British National Party, why aren't they supporting it?
Chair, can I
Yeah, of course, go ahead.
Obviously, there's a quote from Nick Clegg that said, I'm the PR, you can fill a busload of MPs. The British National Party, this is, I think we'll go one step back. The Liberal Democrats didn't want AB. As Nick Clegg said, it was a grubbing of a compromise. And what everyone thinks, I'm actually for PR actually, not this system. Okay. And
but my question is to you. My question is to you. If this was a route to power, why don't the BNP support the yes vote? Why don't they support
BNP
the
want PR.
But why not support this? Because PR is not on the agenda. So if this was a route to advance their cause, why are they not supporting it? Can I ask you that question? Why are the BNP not supporting the yes vote if, as you say, it benefits them? Sure. I mean, but that's the whole point of the AV vote, that you have to engage with all the constituency and not just one small section. I mean, you know, this borough actually is an example from time to time in which politicians only engage with a minority of the community. With AV, they have to broaden their sphere to engage with a much wider electorate to ensure they get that 50% majority. I mean, I'm encouraged because, of course, in some areas, black communities have been marginalised. I don't want them to be, but equally, I don't want the white working class to be marginalised too. You know, what many black organisations, individuals and groups have said to me, that, you know, this is not about Labour, this is not about Liberal Democrats or the Conservatives, it's about democracy.